There's no way. Could it be? I didn't think I'd live to see this day. But for once, there's actual hope. There might be a chance. For the first time ever, Vancouver Canucks might actually win the Stanley Cup. Oh, jeez, I can't even say that with a straight face. This is a bit of a deviation from my normal content because it's not vlogging, it's not even football, but rather hockey. You know, I was going to make another video on Barcelona, but safe to say, it's not been fun for us. But the one team that's actually doing well that I support, well, aside from Whitecaps because the season hasn't started yet, Vancouver Canucks. I guess I should provide you with a bit of backstory. Back when I was 7 years old, I started following the NHL. And being from Vancouver, of course I supported the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, they were the easiest team to support for me, so it made sense. And that was the season Vancouver did really well, which was the 2010-11 season, which in the regular season, they finished first in the Western Conference. So with Vancouver Canucks finishing first in the Western Conference, surely we'd get an easy opponent, right? Think again. We got drawn against the Chicago Blackhawks, the defending champions. Oh boy. Our proud Canucks didn't let that faze them though, because they raced to a 3-0 lead in the series. I mean, it was actually unbelievable. I did not expect Vancouver Canucks to do so well against the defending champions. And then something happened. We went full Canucks. To those of you who are unfamiliar with the history of Vancouver Canucks, we are basically the Tottenham Hotspur of hockey. Most of the time we do pretty well in the regular season, and then as soon as the playoff comes, we completely blow it. And this time was no different, as Vancouver Canucks went on to squander the next 3 games as Chicago Blackhawks tied it at 3-3, with the next game being a must-win. It is the history of the Vancouver. So, Game 7 in the series. Win this, and Vancouver Canucks are on to the next round. We race to a fantastic start as, within just 3 minutes, Alexander Burrows opened the scoring. And for the rest of the match, Vancouver Canucks fended off the Blackhawks. That's what I'd like to say. But remember, the Tottenham of hockey. In the third period, with less than 2 minutes remaining, Jonathan Toews equalizes for Blackhawks. And it goes into overtime. It's the history of the Vancouver, but having bottled their lead in more ways than one, Alexander Burrows wasn't about to let a perfect night escape from him, and in overtime, he scores the winner. That's right, Vancouver Canucks have beaten the defending champions, and they go on to the next round. I mean, I remember I was so elated when the final result came. I mean, I was in 2nd grade at the time, and I remember a bunch of kids in my school going, Blackhawks are gonna win, Blackhawks are gonna clinch it, this and that. And I don't know if I was the only one who believed in Canucks, at least in my class, but yeah, just seeing them take that win, it was so emotional. Even though I didn't really show it, it meant so much. The conference semifinals and conference finals weren't much trouble. We easily brushed past Nashville and San Jose, and so Vancouver Canucks are into the Stanley Cup finals. Wow! We would face off against Boston Bruins, and even better news, because we had won the President's Trophy, we would have the home ice advantage. What that means is, if there's a 7th game required, then we'll play it in the Rogers Arena. So basically, home field advantage. But for only 1 game out of 7. So we had the home ice advantage for the first 2 games, as both opening matches, were played in the Rogers Arena. And the Canucks did pretty well too. At the Rogers Arena, we would take narrow 1-goal wins over Boston Bruins both times. And then it was Boston's turn to host the NHL playoffs. And what happened there? Oh gosh, I really don't want to revisit this. You know how Barca fans are always complaining about 8-2, 4-0? This is the Canucks version of that. I mean, how on earth did this happen? I I really have no idea. I mean, both Sedin brothers forgot how to shoot. Luongo found about 200 extra holes in his gloves. The tactics just flew straight out the window. How fun. I mean, I expected us to lose in TD Garden, but not this badly. I mean, how? What on earth happened? But hey, we can always bounce back in the next game, right? Actually, no, we can't. As I said, Tottenham Hotspur of hockey. With the series now at 2-2, Vancouver needed to win the next one in order to increase their chances of winning the title. And they did just that, winning 1-0 at the Rogers Arena. So as long as we win the next match at TD Garden, we'll win the Stanley Cup for the first time in our history. But remember, it's TD Garden, and it's Vancouver Canucks. Guess what happened? I distinctly remember Roberto Luongo receiving widespread criticism for his performance in this game, and rightfully so. I mean, for goodness sake, he let in 3 goals in 3 minutes. How? I misspoke. When I said Roberto Luongo had about 200 extra holes in his gloves, I was wrong. At this point, his gloves just rotted off his hands, and he probably wasn't wearing guards either. How else did that happen? I mean, he was so bad, he got pulled. And yet again, we squander a chance to win the Stanley Cup. Oh wait, there's the final. Even better news, it's at the Rogers Arena. Because we won the President's Trophy. I mean, in these playoffs, we've played Boston Bruins 3 times at the Rogers Arena. All 3 times, we beat them. So, should be no challenge, right? Right? Tottenham of hockey. The ultimate manifestation of pain as Boston Bruins win at the Rogers Arena 4-0, and Vancouver Whitecaps lose the Stanley Cup. By the way, I was 8 years old when this happened. I got my first experience of supporting a team that just bottled a trophy at 8 years old. Imagine the emotional impact that had. Oh boy, let me tell you, it was not fun. There was a period, honestly, where I just stopped following hockey altogether because I just couldn't believe it. We had just blown it so badly. It was pretty emotionally painful, if I'm honest. I mean, what seemed like destiny to me, the fact that we could have won our first ever Stanley Cup at home, and then just lost so badly at home. I mean, I hope you can relate. Especially because it was at such a young age, too. The worst part? This wasn't even the first time it had happened. We're actually the Tottenham Hotspur of hockey. Every single time we challenge for the title, we just completely blow it. And Roberto Luongo, remember him? Whereas Vancouver Canucks are the Tottenham Hotspur of hockey. He's basically the hockey version of 2018 Loris Karius. Does pretty well, arguably a goaltender of the season contender, until the final. Then he just turns into an amateur. And even better than that, he didn't even need a concussion to forget how to play. And safe to say, both times we lost the Stanley Cup, the fans were not happy at all. So yeah, I have hope for Vancouver Canucks this season, but it's extremely cautious optimism because I have seen us be promising so many times. And then the playoffs come. And we turn into a high school team. Actually, no, even a high school team would destroy us. It also doesn't help that I'm a lot more casual about being a hockey fan than I am about being a football fan. I mean, I don't really watch that many NHL games. Usually, if I get tickets for free or something, then yeah, I'll go. But usually I just keep up with them on tables or something. And I know it's not football content, but I think this is pretty established already. You all love to watch me suffer. So when we inevitably lose the title again, when I am inevitably disappointed the minute the playoffs come, you'll get a new pain video, so isn't that lovely? And I'll get to watch Downtown Trashed again. Yay! So yeah, I hope we can write our own story, our own fairy tale, and hey, I mean, if you want an underdog story to support, then wish us luck, because we definitely need it.